Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel AptitudeMadeEasy to learn. I hope everyone doing good. In this video, we are going to discuss about one of the very interesting topic that's nothing but calendars. So this is also very important concept in either competitive exams or also placement exams, mostly for the placement exams in almost all MNC company recruitments. So we'll get a basic questions based upon calendars or else even in competitive exams. So how to solve these calendars? Why? Because this will become a major problem for most of the candidates who are attempting those exams. Why? Because they feel it is a difficult part to find out days or else to find out dates using this. So in this video, we are going to discuss about how to solve this calendar problem. And in this video, we are going to discuss about the basics. How to solve calendar problems, what are the logics we are going to use, what are the shortcuts we are going to use. Then, why so late? Let's get into the video. Welcome back. So as I said, calendars. What are the types of problems we can expect? So let me ask you basic questions. Just try to answer these basic questions. How many of you remember what day of the week was your birthday? Like for example, consider most of us will remember birthdays. Obviously, we'll remember not most of the everyone. Like consider your birthday is 15th May. Say it is 2000 or else some 1990. Consider like this. So obviously, we will remember our birthdays. Then what about day? This is a date, right? Then what about day? Is it a Monday or else Tuesday or else Wednesday or else Thursday? We can't remember that, right? And okay, at least 80% of the people can remember. And what about this one? What day of the week 3 days ago? For example, consider today as a Sunday. So assume that today is a Sunday. 3 days before means okay, I can consider ago is nothing but before. 3 days before means I'll count down manually and we'll say okay, it is a Wednesday. 3 days before exactly it is Wednesday. So this is so simple. These two questions we can answer. And in competitive exams, we cannot expect these simple questions. Then what are the questions we can expect? Are these. What day of the week was 15th August 1947? See this, we know this as the Independence Day of India. Like India got independence on 15th August 1947, we'll remember that. But if I ask you what is the particular day, like is it a Wednesday, is it a Tuesday, is it a Monday, is it a Friday, is it a Saturday? If I ask that question, how many of you can tell that confidently? Okay, we will see at least 50% of the people will say that. Why? Because they can remember. Okay, these are special dates we can remember. Then what about a complicated dates? For example, if I gave you this one, 16th April 2003. So these not even your birthday, these not any special day. Then how can you say what is the particular day of this date? We'll fall in a dilemma, obviously. So here itself, most of the candidates will lose their mark and they'll not learn this concept. Why? Because they'll think that it is very difficult and tricky. But if you watch this video, the way I am telling and the concept we are going to use, you will feel it very easy to solve this. Even without any pen and paper also, you can answer this question. Okay, let's see now how to solve this one. In order to solve this, we are going to use a concept known as odd days. So what is this odd days? How to use these odd days? What about a particular odd days? Odd days for years will be there, months will be there. How to remember them? So no need to worry. Why? Because it will be very easy. I'll explain what is this odd days clearly. And you can remember odd days for years also. It will be very easy. See this. First of all, an odd day. Odd day is nothing but extra number of days. So what is this extra number of days? The days whichever left over after forming a complete week. After forming one complete week or else some complete weeks using a given days, the number of days that are left over extra are nothing but odd days. For example, consider here 10 days. I want to find out how many odd days are there. First of all, question yourself. How many weeks I can form, complete weeks I can form using this 10 days? We know 1 week will have 7 days, right? 10 days means how many weeks I can form now? I can use 7 days to form a week. Done. Then what about remaining days? How many days left over? 3 days out of 10 days. So these 3 days are nothing but odd days. So simply we need to frame particular weeks, and extra days left over are nothing but odd days. Okay, for smaller numbers like 10 days, for 14 days or some 20 days, I can count manually how many weeks I can form and I can answer. Then what about these days? For 38 days means how can I say? Of course, this is also a smaller number, but it's very simple. See this. In order to calculate odd days for any given number of days, just divide the value with 7. Why? Because week will have 7 days. See this, 38 by 7. What is a quotient? So I hope everyone knows quotient. This is nothing but quotient. The value which we'll get here is nothing but a quotient, right? 7 fives will be 35. That is the maximum multiple I can form here. And what is the remainder now? 3 days. Which means I can form now 5 weeks and 3 odd days will be left over once again here. So this is how generally we'll be forming odd days. So just divide the given number or the given value with 7 and take out a quotient. So quotient means we need to have a number of weeks. It doesn't matter for us, just we want a reminder. So reminder gives number of odd days. I hope everyone got an idea now what is meant by an odd day, right? Just the number of days left over after forming a week is nothing but an odd day. Then for particular years, we'll be having odd days, like odd days for the 10 days, odd days for 38 days, we have that, right? But for example, if I have 1st January 2005. So till this 1st January 2005, from 0th year, I cannot count how many days are there. Obviously, we need to use an alternate method. So for that, we'll be having codes for a years. So let's see what are those codes for years. Odd year, like a normal year, leap year will be having different odd days, all these things. Let's see here. Yeah, odd days of years. So how many days are there in a normal year? Before going for odd days, let's see this basics. So a normal year means a general year out of a leap year. We know a normal year will have 365 days. And a leap year means it will be 366 days. Just one day will be extra. How many odd days are there for a normal year? How many odd days will be there for a leap year means simple thing what we did before, just divide this value with 7 and find out odd days, or else you can remember normal year means you'll be having 52 weeks. You can form complete 52 weeks and one day will be left over extra. Leap year means same 52 weeks you can form, but 2 days will be left over. So which means now how many odd days are there for a normal year and leap year? These are nothing but odd days, right? Days left over extra in a normal year or odd days for normal year, and similarly for leap year we'll have 2 days. So number of odd days for normal year means 1 odd day. Number of odd days in a leap year means 2 days. Okay, this is about a normal year and a leap year. Like whenever we go to questions like how many odd days are there in a particular 2000 year, 2005 year, 2006 year, I can say in this pattern. Is a leap year or a normal year? We know leap year means it should be divisible by 4. Why? Why? Because every leap year comes for 4 years. Like if I got leap year for 2004, next leap year will be 2008 by adding 4 years. So like that, for every 4 years, I'll be getting a leap year. So that's the reason I need to divide with 4 in order to get a leap year or not. But this does not verify for a century years. For example, consider 1500. Of course, this is divisible by 4, but it is not a leap year. Why? Because century years means, so whenever it is ending with two zeros, we'll call it as a century year. So every century year should divisible by 400 in order to be a leap year. Every other normal year should be divisible by 4 in order to become a leap year. So anyway, we all of us know these basics. So if it is a century year, check with a 400 divisibility. If it is a normal year, check with a 4. So normal year means like this, out of century years, check with 4. Okay, this is okay. Simply I can check whether it is a leap year or normal year, and based on that I'll say how many odd days will be there in that year. And coming to the main part. So we need to remember these odd days for some number of years. So how many odd days are there in 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, like that we need to remember. How to know that one? It's very simple. Number of odd days in 100 years. So I'll tell the process first of all, and later on just we'll discuss the value but not a process. See this, 100 years, how many leap years and how many normal years are there? See, in first 100 years, we'll be having 24 leap years and remaining 76 will be ordinary years. So how I calculated this, just divide with a 4 and quotient. So actually I'll get 25 as a quotient, 425 is 100, but 100th year is not a leap year. Why? Because it is not divisible by 400. So that's the reason we'll have 24 leap years and 76 ordinary years in this. So leap year means one leap year will have 2 days, 2 odd days. 24 leap years will have 24 into 2, 48 odd days. Similarly, 76 ordinary years, which means 76 normal years, will have 76 days. So totally 76 odd days. And what is the total number of odd days for 100 years? 124. See this, but still 124. Using these 124 days which I have got extra, I can form some weeks, right? So divide this value with 7 and check what is the least number of odd days you can get. If I divide with 7, I'll get 5 odd days. Which means, here I write, for 100 years, odd days will be 5. So using this process, for 200 years, we'll be getting 3 odd days. For 200 years, 3 odd days. So these are the century codes, just we need to remember. And the process is same for 200 years, 300 years, I'll find out like this. In 300 years, odd days will be 1 odd day. So century code for 300 will be 1. For 400 years, see this, 400 years is a century year. 400th year is a century year, right? Like a leap year. Century year plus leap year. So for every 400 years, I'll get 0 odd days, which means we'll have perfect number of weeks. No extra days will be left over after forming a week. And for 500, it is once again 5 odd days, which means it will be repeated. Cycle will be repeated for every 400 years. So which means century codes will be repeated for every 400 years. But coming to the general life in the general problems, obviously we'll not find out for years, like for 1600 year. See this, for 1600 or else for 1800, how many odd days will be there? So till 1600 years, how to find out odd days? Should we use the same process? No. As we already discussed, it will be repeated for every 400 years, right? So this cycle is constant, 5310. What you need to do is divide that century year with 400. So consider 1800 for example. Divide with 400. What is the remainder I'll get? 4 fours will be 16, which means 200 will be left over. So 200 is a remainder, which means it is like a 1800 year will be like a 200 years. So what you need to do, whenever a century year is given, divide with a 400 and the remainder will tell you century code. So century code of 1800 will be same as century code of 200, which means 3. Like that, what will be century code for say 1900? 1900 divided by 400 means remainder will be 300. Like just remember the fourth table. We can remember four table, right? 4 fours will be 16. Extra 3 will be there, which means 300. So 1900 code will be same as century code of 300, which is nothing but 1. So this is how for century years, any number of century years, just we can remember this century code if you remember this cycle. 5310 is a cycle. Either you can remember or else you can use a general process up to 400 years. Okay, so now we came to know how to find out odd days for these century years. Then what about months? So every time they will not give century year perfectly. They'll give 1947 Jan 16 or else May 55. Sorry, May 15th, 1955. So like that they'll give some days, right? So for that also we'll be having month codes. And general process for month codes is we need to divide the days in a month with 7. Like for example, consider January. We'll be having 31 days. So 31 by 7 means we'll be having 3 odd days. But we are not going to use this process. We are going to remember some values for the months. So which is a shortcut process for finding these calendar problems. So we need to remember these month codes for 12 months. So for January, the code will be 6, which means I'm giving the odd day codes. So whenever they say it is a month of January, just you need to consider 6. Similarly, February, the code will be 2. So 5 for March, sorry, 2 for March, 5 for April, 0 for May, 3 for June, 5 for July. For August, it will be 1. For September, it will be 4. October 6, November 2, December 4. So for these 12 months, you need to remember these 12 codes, like a 12 values. You can remember in a pattern like 62250351462 4. You can remember the pattern, and whenever you got a particular month in a problem, you can take out this value. And for a leap year, just value will be changing for January and February. See this. If it is a leap year, the month code for January will be 5. If it is a leap year, month code for February will be 1. Only for these 2 months, the codes will be changing. For all other months, whether it is a leap year or else a normal year, the code will be constant. And as we already know how to find out a leap year or not, for example, given year is 2021. So 2021 is not a leap year. So if it is a month of January, I'll consider 6. Consider 2020. 2020 is a leap year. So for January or else February, I'll consider these values 5 and 1 respectively. Right. Similarly, for these, we'll be having codes for particular days. So finally, after solving a problem, we'll get a particular code, right? I have 3 odd days, I have 5 odd days, I have 1 odd day. So odd days will be following like this from Monday to Sunday, starting from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So definitely will not get 7 as a odd day. Why? Because 7 odd days means it is a complete week. So if you get reminder 0, it will be Sunday. If you get odd day as a 1, it will be Monday. Odd day 2 means it will be Tuesday. So this is how generally we'll be using odd days, and we'll be solving a problem on this also in order to clarify for these usage of odd days. So just you need to remember these month codes and these days. So once again, I'll write century codes here. 100 years, 5. 200 years, odd days will be 3. 300 years, odd days will be 1. For 400 years, odd day will be 0. So for all multiples of 400 years, odd days will be 0. And as we already know how to find out odd days for 1900, 1800, 2100, like that, just you can use a process of dividing with a 400. I hope everyone clear with these odd days. First of all, particularly what is an odd day. Just you need to have a basic idea of what is an odd day, and you can remember these values while solving the problems. Okay, now let's solve a basic problem here. How odd days are used to find out a particular day. So here I have taken a basic day, 15th August 1947. As we already know, most of us know what is the particular day of this. I have taken the common example of this so that we'll get a best idea. So how to solve these particular problems? It's very simple. It is, what is the year? 15th August 1947 is a year. So the basic step, that is step 1, you need to divide this particular year, 1947. How 1947 is divided? So I need to divide this year as, first of all, write century year. What is the closest century year of 1947? Like it is a century year of 1900. So write 1900 century year. So even for example, if the year is like a 2097, century year is 2000. So whatever year is there before these two digits, 2000 will be, we are saying 2000, or 1947 means 1947, 2020. So that particular years will be century years. So write century year and the last two digits, or else simply the normal year, last two digits of a year will consider 47. And here I'll consider the last two digits, that is these two digits 47 divided by 4. But I'll not consider the value here, just I'll consider quotient. What is the quotient of this? Don't consider remainder here, just consider quotient of year divided by 4. So I'll write the pattern here. Century year you need to write. So last two digits of a year and quotient of year divided by 4. So this is the pattern you need to write. Written. Now what is the code for 1900? What is the century code for 1900? So as we already know, 1900 means divide with 400. So if I divide with 400, I'll get a remainder 300. So what is century code for 300? That will be same as century code of 1900. In the previous one, we already discussed. For 300, century code is 1. Which means here it will be 1. Century code will be 1 for century year. And add up this value as it is 47. Quotient of 47 divided by 4 will get 4 11s 44. That is the maximum multiple we can get. So 11, which means this is a quotient. Add up this 58 plus 159. So 59 odd days will be there. Even you can simplify this by dividing with 7. And here consider the remainder. What is the remainder I'll get now? 59 divided by 7 means it will be 3. Why? Because 7 eighths will be 56. 7 eighths will be 56. 3 will be left over, which is the remainder. So 3 odd days are there for year 1947. Like starting from a 0th year to 1947, year code, century code for 1947 will be 3 odd days. So write it here. Step 2, add these month value. So August is the month, right? What is the odd days code for month August? Here we already discussed. For month August, odd days is 1. So write that value here. For August, it will be 1. And simply add up the date. Whatever value of date given here, just add up that date. So date is 15th. So add up 15. 15 plus 3, 18. 18 plus 1, 19. So which means total 19 odd days will be there till here. And 19 odd days means I can write it as 5 odd days. Why? Because 19 odd days means I can form completely 2 weeks and 5 days will be left over, which is nothing but 5 odd days. Or else simply divide this with 7. So 5 odd days is there finally, which means the odd day code for 15th August 1947 will be 5. So if I got odd day as a 5, what is the particular day which we already discussed? 5, which is the code for Friday. Simple, which means 15th August 1947 falls on Friday. So the particular day falls on Friday. So you can use this concept in order to find out your birthdays. So as we already know our birthdays, right? So simply use this process and verify your birthday particularly using this method and mention that value in the comment. So these just a basic problems and the basics of a calendar concept, how to solve particularly. And there are a lot of shortcuts also for other particular types of problems in calendars. And we can discuss all those shortcuts and we can solve some more problems in the next video of calendars. I hope this video is useful for everyone who are preparing for placements or else competitive exams. And this is also very interesting. And as I already said that, I'll say only shortcut, right? Why? Because general process is very lengthy. So you can use this shortcut method in order to verify your Ds. I hope this is useful for you, everyone. If you have any sort of doubts, drop it in the comment section or else we can mail me. I'll provide all those details in the description. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the video, share it to your friends and give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.